Okay, I think too early. How to continue? Yeah, I think by the time they join, let's have a quick look at it. Recap. So we are talking about Node.js as an environment. Could be for as an environment to build web applications for the client side, or you can use a server side application. Node.js, when you compare it with other technologies, will be an excellent option if you have anything like real-time applications like chatting or streaming API, whether an admin dashboard has to be updated. Okay, so whenever you have stream-based and all, Node.js is an excellent option. Has many built-in modules like FS, which is what we saw. HTTP URL, we'll see this HTTP URL next, along with other topics, we'll combine it. Okay, so Node.js uses a common JS module system wherein we say exports and require. Okay, not the ES6 module system, which is by default for ES6. Node.js uses common JS module system. So these are the things what we have covered. Then we used something called as an emitter, event emitters. So wherein we have subscribed for events. Whenever the events are emitted, these callbacks are getting executed. This is where the registration is happening. So this is what you are saying. I want to register for this event, this callback, for this event, this callback. That is what is the concept used here by the event emitter of file stream. They are all standard events. So this file stream is going to generate data whenever a chunk of a data comes from the server. If any file handling errors comes, it emits an error. But when it goes to the EOF end of the file, end is triggered. So these are the events generated by the file stream. So this is the most preferred way of handling the file streams rather than callback also. Even callbacks is also not recommended here because if here, even though it is asynchronous, this method is going to get executed only once with the chunk of complete data, it will come at one shot. So especially this Node.js is excellent if you have a huge data to be served to the client in the forms of a chunk. So which is what we have done here. Any questions so far what we have covered? Yeah. Any questions? Can we move on?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Now let's start getting into understanding modules. Guys, just I want you to do this. I can't do this because we will have to do step by step. Create one folder. Call it as something like folder, my folder. Step by step, we'll do this. I'm showing you how you actually do the Node.js application, how you organize your modules. So modularizing your code with required module, import, testing, everything will do this application. So first you create an application called as my app. Here,
Hello, your voice is not audible.
It's actually breaking.
Yes,
you're in this folder. Yes.
your voice is breaking.
think some issue with the screen sharing. Am I audible now?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay,
you
I
are
think,
audible.
I think he has to give me the permission now. Screen sharing. Okay. Santosh, are you there? So I have an issue with screen sharing. Can you make me host? Hmm. A screen sharing issue ಇದೆ ನೋಡಿ ಮತ್ತೆ post ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಹಾ
Manu, your screen is visible, but you are not audible.
Okay, now?
Now it.
Hello?
Yes, you
Yeah.
are audible.
Okay, fine. Okay, some disconnection problem. So because I'm not the host, again, I'll have to ask someone to give me the privilege. Okay, now I'm the host. Fine. So let's move on. Now we have created a folder. Let's continue with this. Have you created this folder? So now what way I'm trying to, I think in case if you missed out what I was explaining with the audio difficulty, we are getting into Node, how exactly Node applications are built. What is Node.js module system? So what is that package manager? These things and how to test our code we'll be learning in this step by step now. Okay. So we'll be looking at, yeah. So I think someone is waiting. Okay. Yeah. Fine then. Yes. So we'll create this folder. First one, to create this folder, give npm init. All of you start with this. In the folder, give npm init. npm init. Okay. Just give npm init. Then that is initialization. What is the name of the application you want to give? By default, it will take the folder name. So the folder is my app. Let it be my app only. Then which is the version of your application? Description. So this is okay. This app. Okay. Demo for unit testing and npm modules. We'll say. Okay, some description. Entry point, as of now, you can give index.js test and you give mocha -reporter spec. What is this Mocha? I'll explain. Git repository, right now we are not pushing it. Keywords, whatever you want here. This is all, so only for description purpose, anything you can give for that keywords. Meaning, so if anybody is searching for an NPM module, so when we push it into that repository, if anybody wants to search for search engines, this will be useful. Okay. Yes. So license gave it. So everything is fine. Click on OK. So you should be able to get this package.json here. Okay, hope it's done. Now see, this folder has one package.json created. Got it? This is the center of Node.js application. So basically, package.json, okay, a file, so where we configure scripts to run. So the scripts could be something like for build, run, test, all the scripts, what all you want to execute. So that sort of scripts, if you want to configure, this is the place where you will be doing it. Then main thing is configure dependencies. Okay, dependencies. Now, dependencies means whenever your application needs third-party libraries. Okay, third-party libraries. So all those third-party libraries has to be configured in package.json. As of now, I don't have any configuration here. So we'll go on adding. So people who are coming from so something like Java background, compare this with pom.xml of Maven. Okay, if you are coming from Java background and take this package.json as a very much similar to your pom.xml. Whatever you do in pom.xml will be there in package.json. Okay. So what this will do is when you configure dependencies, it will download it for you. Oh, okay. So your application will have n number of dependencies. All dependencies or pip, whatever you use it. And yeah, here dependencies will be downloaded from repository or from central repository to node modules folder of your application. Now, as of now, if you look here, my app doesn't have a node modules folder, sorry. So once I download the dependencies, here my app will have a node modules folder. All the third-party libraries which you want will get downloaded into this node modules. So actually, if you want to look more detail into this, NPM registry, if you see NPM registry, global registry, say something like this. So for example, if I want to create, install, okay, MongoDB, so I'll search for MongoDB. Can you see here, MongoDB driver, which one you want like this? For example, if I want to have a MongoDB, what it says is, oh, come on, it's slow internet. Now it says npm install MongoDB. This is the line. See this green line, what I have highlighted. If I install that, that will come and sit, the third-party library will come and into the node modules folder. So anything when you install like this is my central repository. From this central, sorry, from the central repository, we download it into our node modules folder, and an entry will happen in the package.json. Whichever one you have downloaded, an entry for that will come in the package.json. Next, so when you are committing, so when you commit your application to the repository, you will not be committing this node modules. Got it? So you'll not be committing to the repository node modules. Only you'll be committing your code and package.json. Okay. So you'll commit only package.json and your code, not all the dependencies. So now your team member, what it does is, you will just say npm install. Then whatever entries are there in package.json, here we have, as of now, we don't have, everything gets downloaded into this machine also. So that way, I don't need to share the third-party dependencies. We don't need to commit the third-party dependencies present in the node modules folder. Okay. So to understand more on this, just come back here. Just type here in my app, npm install, okay, -d mocha chai request. Type this.
I actually joined late. Could you please also share like what you did before after npm init?
Oh, you did npm init, is it?
Yeah, after npm init.
Only this much. Go to this folder.
Yeah.
Run this. That's all. I was just explaining theory. This is the only statement I've executed.
So in the package name, I don't have to give anything, right?
Package name? No, nothing. All defaults you can take. Yeah.
Okay. Because after npm init, it asks for the package name. Oh, okay, fine.
That it takes a default name of the application.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Now, you need to look at this carefully. npm I for install, short form, install. Okay. I'll come to the DD option later on. 3 dependencies I am doing. What is it? I'm explaining later on. Mocha, chai, request. Now, once I give that, it says here, request version 2.88 is the latest version it downloads. Chai 4.2.0 is the latest version. Mocha 8.1.3 is the latest version. It has downloaded. I have told only 3, but look at it. What does it say? Added 188 packages. That means this internally depends on n number of third-party transitive dependencies. So that's the beauty about npm. So when I say actually npm install, which one is that? So something like A or package A or package A 1.6 version, let us assume 6 version may depend on package B 4.5 version, which in turn may depend on, okay, package C 7.4 version. I don't need to worry about it. So I just say, give me a package A 1.6 version. So it will start installing the B as well as C. So that is what we call it as manages transitive dependencies. If you open node module, see this, how many files are downloaded here. Now, do you want to commit all this to the repository? It will take full day here. So, okay, look at this full folder. Now, what I do is when I commit to my Git repository, I will say git ignore. Node modules folder, I'll put it into git ignore. So that means this will not be committed. Your friend, look at this here, packet.json now. Can you see here? An entry is added here. Dev dependency entry is added here. Look at this carefully. So whatever we have installed, now that is added to dev dependencies. Okay. Yeah. So you have dependencies and dev dependencies. Okay. See this. So the difference between these two is APIs required in production stage. Sorry, dev dependencies are dependencies which are required in development stage only, meaning anything like testing related or linting, okay, so these sort of things and all, bundling, all these are required only in the development stage. They are not required when the code goes live. So package.json will have both the entries, dev dependencies and dependencies. When I gave this option here, see this, when I gave this option -d is basically to tell that I'm installing Mocha as well as chai, as well as request. Okay, A space, B space, C, like that you can give, or you can use it in multiple lines. I am installing all these are required only in the development stage. When you bundle my application, remove all this from my bundle. What are all they? All these three things are related to testing, which we'll be using it later on. So if you want to use any APIs which are required in the production, don't give this -d option. Got it? So then it will add it into this dependencies. Any questions on this? Dependencies and dev dependencies. What is actually Mocha Chai and all, I'll come to it later on. Okay, we are just downloaded just to show you the how exactly my packet.json looks like now. Okay, we'll move on. Now in this, here, when you say like this, here it refers to any latest version or any version after same or after 4.2.0 from the central repository. Here, if I give a caret, it means you give me any version, latest version. Okay, it need not be 4.2. If you have a latest version other than 4.2, give me that. So that is what is this. Suppose if I don't give this, if I just give this exact version 4.2.0. Okay, so if you don't use a caret, it is actually the exact version. If I use a tilde here, where is the tilde? Okay, here major version has to be 4. Subversion can be anything. 4.3, 4.4, okay, like that it supports, but it has to be 4. Got it? So 4.2, 4.3, any of this is valid. So caret is any latest version, greater version than 4.2, exact version, or any major version has to be 4, subversion can be anything. That is how you have it in the entries. So far, any questions on package.json? Can we move on? Yeah. Okay. So here, once done, now within my app, I'll create app folder. Within my app, I'll create a test folder. See, this is how we generally organize. Now look at this here. My actual code will come in the app. Its testing code, I'll write it in test. Okay. In the production, only app can go. Node modules and so this app test need not be going to the production. Test is only for test unit testing, right? We'll talk about it later on. Come to the app folder, create one file. I'll call it as converter.js. Okay. Yeah. Sharing this full folder will be difficult until the end of the day because so that is why I want you to try it out. So first what we'll do, module dot exports RGB to X one function which takes red, green, blue like that. Module dot exports X to RGB takes an hexadecimal, then function padding takes an hexadecimal. Here, look at this. Sorry. Here, one file is one module. From this, there are 3 functions here. 2 functions I'm exporting. This padding cannot be used outside. Okay. So what is my intention right now is, see this one. If I pass 255.0.255, that should get converted to hexadecimal like this. Okay. Here, it's quite the reverse. If I pass hexadecimal, that should get converted to 255.0.255. That is my intention. Any questions here? Okay. A simple functions. So in this module, 2 are exported, padding is not exported. Okay. Yes. Next. If you're done, now let me start taking one by one. Where RGB to X we'll have to do, no? Yes, red value, fine. What we'll do, yeah, simple one. See this, what we have done here. So let us take this part. Suppose if I have a value 255, A is equal to 255. Now A dot toString, if I give it a 16 hexadecimal, converts it into FF. Or if I give it as 8 octal value of 255. So default decimal. Default is toString is decimal. So you have a number, convert to a string. So whether it has to be hexadecimal, octal or decimal, you can specify here. So this values, based on this values, I convert it into hexadecimal. This has to be returned back. So what I do is I say return this padding of R plus padding of green plus padding of blue value. What is this padding doing here is, suppose if the value of A, or I'll take it as here, 15 to hexadecimal. Okay, so that I'll have to take it again. 15 I'll take. Now see, it comes as F. So what my intention here is, I want to make it as 0F. Okay, so that is what I want to do the padding here. So the value of 0 will be 0. So you'll have to just add one more 0 to it. So what we'll do is, if x dot length okay, length equal to 1, then I concatenate 0 with x, else pass the hex itself. So this is going to take care of that. So any questions in this? So just add this up. So then we'll go into the other function. Okay, so simple functions. What happened to this?
If you don't
You
need
have
the
an
if,
state.
Oh, yeah,
if
I have given if, sorry, instead of, okay, sorry. Yeah, instead of return, I have typed it. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Will
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll add this function also, then we can write a test code now. Now let's see this. Here hexadecimal comes like this. Now first I'll have to get the red part of it. From this hexadecimal, so I'll have to take, now first thing is x dot substring 0 to 2. This gives me the first FF. That I like to convert it into an integer 255. FF has to be converted to 255. Correct. Take the FF, that what value is there is in hexadecimal, convert it into integer 255 it happens. Similarly, B is equal to %. I'll take this, copy paste it, and yes, here this will be 2 to 4. Okay, then the last one, pretty simple one, 4 to 6. We got this, and I return R comma G comma B as an array. Okay, array of values. So just add this up, or this part I can share it, that not an issue. Okay. Sorry, Mohammed, the D was development mode. So sorry, I am seeing it now. This D is to specify that I want to use these third-party dependencies only in the development mode, not in the production code. Okay, yeah. So If I don't use -d, that means these libraries are required in development stage also for code to run. So I am using this only for testing stage. Such dependencies will use saying that I need only in the development stage, not in the production stage. Hope it's clear. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Just check this. Yeah. Can one? Yes. Once done, so you've done the code. Now I'll use it in other module. Before that, I want to test this module. For testing, we are used. Now let us get into. So unit testing, JavaScript. Okay. Unit testing JavaScript. So basically, each small unit, if you want to test, you will be writing a test code along with that. So like for example, RGB2X is a small module, a small functionality. To test that, we'll be writing one test function. So testing is very important part of your development. Okay, unit testing, a developer himself has to do it. So you have written the code. How am I going to test it? I can't depend on the console and see that output here to see whether it is working properly or not. So you need to write a test code. Okay. Testing is all about 3 A's. That is assemble, action, and assert. So first we'll have to group all the related tests together. That is assemble. Then you perform an action like clicking on a button. When I click on a button, what actually is the expected output? That is assert. So we tell all this put together is a test unit. So we assemble all the test units, perform certain actions. After performing an action, I check out, assert whether the given value and expected value is one and the same or not. Okay, so we'll do that. Now we have unit testing frameworks. So you have many unit testing frameworks for JavaScript. One, Jasmine. Okay, Jasmine is an unit testing framework. You have Jest. We have Mocha. Okay, popular. Now I'm having Mocha. Next, when we go to the next React and all, I'll show you Jest. Not that you can't use Jest now, Mocha later on and all. Okay, so Jest gets along very well with React. That's why we'll use Jest. Normally in a server side and all, Mocha is more preferable. Okay, so in fact, JavaScript's original Mocha. So JavaScript actually started with Mocha. The name, first name given to JavaScript was Mocha. Then it became Livewire. Then only they made it as JavaScript. Okay, so it evolution. If you see the oldest, okay, but that has got nothing to do with this. This is a unit testing framework. Okay, okay. So just like Jasmine or a Jest. Now they are unit testing frameworks. You can choose. But good thing is, not even a single line of a code will change where you moving from Jasmine to Jest to Mocha. The code and all looks very much similar. Okay, fine. You can so easily you can switch tomorrow between Mocha to Jest or Jasmine. Now, because we have installed now Mocha here, so I'm using this. Instead of Mocha, I should have installed a Jest if I wanted to use a Jest or a Jasmine. Now, to run the Mocha, here, can you see here? I've written one script here. Mocha, this is going to run. Okay. Whatever is present in the test folder, where is that? My bad. Okay. So I made a mess out of it. What is that? The left hand side panel, what was that?
Flow sidebar. Yes. Control B.
Control B.
Show sidebar.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Age is catching up. What to do? Yes. Yeah. So here, look at this here. So what we are doing here is we have a test folder here. Look at this test folder. So Mocha will automatically pick whatever is there in the test folder and then it starts executing. Okay. So when you run the reporter, okay, all JS files within that. Okay. In fact, we can specify individual files, but automatically it will pick whatever is there in the test folder and it will start executing. So this command. Now, once we have done this, we need to write a test. So what I'll do in the test, I create a file. I'll call it as converter spec.js. There is no compulsion that you should save it as say spec. It could be converter.js also. Spec is the convention started by actually Jasmine. Jasmine looks out only for a spec files. Okay. But for Mocha, any file within test is okay. Now what we do here, we will get assert require chai dot assert. Okay. See this. First line. I am getting this. Then I get converter require. This is my own module. Require dot current folder or dot one step back app/converter. Now see this. If you are starting with a period or two dots and all, it is your module. Please see this. If it is starting with a dot or not dots, it is not starting. Chai, what it will do is it will go and check within the node modules. So within the node modules, can you see here chai is there? So it will use this particular thing. So whenever you say require, it will pick it from the node modules folder. Now, what is actually this chai is? Chai is an assertion library. See, chai.js. So chai is an assertion library. So Mocha is a unit testing framework, but Chai is an assertion library. What is this assertion library? Mocha unfortunately doesn't come with its own assertion library, whereas Jest and Jasmine has a built-in assertion library. Now, Chai has three assertion libraries: should, expect, and assert. See the syntax here. Here, there is a variable assuming foo. Okay, content of it, check it whether it is bar. Type of foo, is it a string? Length of foo, is it tree? Like this. This is how we write the assertion code. But instead of assert, I'll use expect. Expect looks better. Okay. Yeah. Assert or expect, which is okay. I'll use expect now. So instead of assert, I'll use expect. I could have used should also. To do assertions, syntax changes, that's all. Expect foo, that is assuming a variable foo is declared where foo is equal to bar. So just check out here, this is the syntax, whereas in assert, this is the syntax. Got it? So same way, if you want, you could have used should also. So we are picking the assertion library Chai. Chai gives me three variants: should, expect, or assert. Which one you want, you can take it, or you can take all three also. In one place, you can use should, in one place, expect, and all. you can do this. Now, next part. Testing is all about, as I said, 3 A's. First, assemble, describe, okay. Here, unit testing converter, okay. This is the assembly, okay. First, you are assembling, so also known as test suite. So wherein you start assembling all tests. So this is all related to converter, okay. Test suite, collection of tests. Then within this, it test RGB to X. This is one particular test. See this, like that. I will write one more test, hex to RGB. Okay. Following. Each function, which is it, is a test now. Test suite is describe. Describe is basically to combine all the tests. Now, two functionalities I want to test, RGB to X and X to RGB. For that, we have each one is it. So then this is actually the function. Okay. So high order function, which function has to be executed for this description. So what will I have to do here? I will say something like where result is equal to converter dot RGB to X is what I want to do. 255.0.0. I am expecting the result. So what is that? Expect result. So what is the syntax here? To be equal to or 2 dot b dot equal to ff. What is the value given here? 0 0. Okay, 0 0. Correct? Any questions on this? So I invoke this method. This method will return back me this value. Okay, so I am expecting the actual with the expected here. Okay, getting it. So like that, you can enter for different values. You can enter it here itself. If all of them passes, then Mocha will mark this test as pass. If one of the expect fails within this, it will mark it as failure. Okay. So next, same thing. If I take it as a result here, converter dot hex to RGB. If I pass ff00, okay, expect result dot 2 dot b dot deep equal to 255 0. Now see this. Here I used equal. Here I used deep equal because this is or otherwise if you don't use the deep, so it will become a shallow. So it will start comparing. So without deep compares array reference. Okay, address references. We don't want that. We want to compare the contents of an array. So that is what is deep equal. Okay. Any questions? Okay. I don't know whether I can push this whole thing in the chat. I'll try it. Okay, I placed it. Just have a look at it.
Could you explain deep once more?
Deep is basically, suppose if you have two arrays here. So suppose where A is equal to 5, 3, 2. B is equal to 5, 3, 2. Contents of it is same, no. A double equal to B, what happens is it will give me a false because there are two different locations. Correct. Two different objects. Are you getting it? Even though the content is same, in the heap area it is two different objects. Compares address of A and B. Got it?
Yeah.
So this is actually what we call it as shallow compare. Now if I start comparing A of 0 equal to B of 0, then A of 1 is equal to B of 0, that is actually the deep. Got it? Element by element, rather than the address. Okay. So that is what we have done here, deep. Okay, don't compare the addresses, compare the content. Okay, take this. I've updated now. So I've shared it in case if you're not typed. Okay. 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 Once done, now I'll come back to the command prompt here. npm test. Okay. Some mistake. Good. Let's check it out. Some mistake I would have done. Now look at this. npm test goes to the package.json. Is there a script by named test? Yes. What is it pointing to? Mocha. Okay. So that internally is running this. So we gave npm test, checks the package.json. Is there a test script written? The test script points to Mocha reporter spec, executes, but it says here one passing, one failing. RGB to X, anyway, it has passed. Hex to RGB, it is failing. It says G is not defined. I'll go back to this RGB. Here, here I've made a mistake. Some RGB, correct. It has to be RGB. Somewhere I made a mistake here. So that is where it is failing. Now modified it. I come back here, rerun the test. Now this time, both the tests are passing. Look at this tick marks here. Unit testing, converter, first test passed, both the tests passed. Two tests were there, both of them are passing. Check up to this. Did all of you get it? Go through that. Okay. Yes, guys. Yeah. Now, if you're done, I'll move on to the next one. Now I'll come back to app. In app, I'll create one more file. I'll call it as server.js. So now what I'm trying to illustrate is, I'm trying to illustrate asynchronous testing. This is synchronous testing. What we did, this is a synchronous code, execute it, I can test it here. Okay, simple function call. We have tested it. We got the output here. Hope you are clear with this. Please, guys, look at this here. Here in package.json, reporter spec is there. No, this is a way of doing it. That's all. Dot means it will give me in a different fashion. Line means it will give me a different fashion. That's all. See, dots, 2 dots. How many tests? So many dots will come. This I don't like it. So, okay, spec is better. Line, how the test has to be reported. No, line is not there, it seems. Okay, I forgot. Then, so like the spec dot, these are all the ones. If you want, you could have run this directly in the command prompt if you have installed Mocha globally. I'll come to that global installation next. Okay, clear? Yeah. Next. Yes. Come to this, create one file, server.js. Here, I'm using HTTP module. Okay. Require HTTP module. Then I take my converter module, require in the current folder, converter is there. Okay. So my server is using this HTTP will come from the global modules where Node.js is installed. When you use Node at the command prompt, the global modules will be loaded into the RAM. Okay. Whereas here, in this case, chai is present in Node modules. HTTP is not present in the Node modules. They are coming from the global modules, which gets loaded into the memory as soon as you say node followed by anything. Okay. Okay. Any questions? Now, here, when I say, okay, server equal to HTTP create server, callback function is request comma response. This is a callback function. And server dot listen to port number, I'll say 3000, a callback here. Okay, say this. Let me take this. Yeah. Okay. Here, this part of a code, this is what is the callback, create a server. Okay. So that gets registered in the API. In the API, a function request response, this function with the body is whatever code you write here gets registered. Got it? And we have told the server has to listen on a port number 3000. Whenever a client makes a request, got it? This function is put into the queue. So 10 clients, 10 times this request and response is added to the queue. Got it? Like this, it goes on adding into this. So then we have a event loop. Okay, event loop takes one by one client request, calls it to the call stack. From the call stack, one by one client can be handled separately. So if we handle the first client out, then second client handle it, third client handle it, like that, you can process it. Got it? So here what we have done, I'm repeating, When you create a server, you'll have to tell which is the function which has to execute whenever the request comes to the port number 3000. Okay. This has to take this function and execute. Request encapsulates all information coming from the client. Got it? All information coming from the client is encapsulated in request. Response is what is used to write the data back to the client. If you know a very basic HTTP request response, this is pretty much simple. Okay, so through request, I can come to read all data coming from the client, whether it's a form data or URL or whatever it is. So any questions on this so far? Okay. So request response will be executed. Now, do not write a blocking code here. If you write a blocking code, look at this. So if 100, so if let us assume 100 clients are there, they are all queued up. Each one, if it takes too much of a time in the call stack, so these people will still be pending. They will get, so they'll have to be in the queue for a long time. So that is why here you should write only something like stream based, not even callbacks, something like stream based, which is not going to make use of lots of CPU time or IO intense. It has to be stream based. So only that sort of a code you should write it. So what I'll do here, where also I'll also take a URL, a helper require. We could do without this also. It's just a helper available. Parsed URL is equal to URL dot parse request dot URL okay. Now request dot URL will be like this: http colon localhost port number 3000. I will say in my case RGB to hex. Okay. Question mark red is equal to 255, ampersand green is 100, blue is equal to 120, like this. So when you enter the URL like this, or if you enter it like hex to RGB, okay, hexadecimal value, you may enter it like 120, 255, 30, something like this. Sorry. FF, AE, 2 or 00, something like this. If you enter, what it will do is this part, this is the from the request URL, okay, it takes out this and splits it into now the IP address, port number, this is the path name, the highlighted part is the path name, query parameters. So it is going to split. Okay, it is going to use say, different delimiters like slash, question mark, equal to, ampersand and all, and it is going to give me all the details. So here path name, I can get it like parsed URL dot path name. So what this does is this will be something like slash RGB to X, like this. This is the path name. Got it? I could have taken directly this and I can go on using substring, regular expression and all. It will be pretty heavy. So that is why we are using another utility called as an URL, which is an helper. Next, if I take here query is equal to parsed URL dot query. Now, anything following question mark is a query parameters. Anything after slash before question mark is a path name. If you pass it as true, it gives me these three things as three different values. If you don't give it as a true, this whole thing after question mark becomes a single string. Okay, guys? Any questions? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Once you have this, next part. Sorry. I'll take here substring. I'll remove this slash. I just want to remove that slash. I want to, so it will be easy for me to code. If path name equal to x2 RGB, so then result will be converter next to RGB query x2 RGB, no? Okay. Query dot hexa value. I'll take this this hexa value x2 RGB. I take this query dot hex, pass it to this function, I get the result. Then using response, I will write head. I can write here status. Okay, all those things I can write. Okay, instead of that, I'll straight away write here result, then end. Okay, otherwise browser keeps waiting for the say it still assumes some data is still coming from the server. Okay, so we'll have to end it. Else I'll bring else if I like, right? Okay, so I'll just write else result equal to converter dot RGB to X. Each of this I will have to take it into this query of red, correct, query dot red. Then I'll have some doubt on this. Let me try it out. Green, blue. Okay. See here, green, blue. Now see this. Here, I pass, so whatever comes in the URI or anything from the HTTP, so query parameters or path parameters, everything is a string. But RGB to hex actually is designed to take a number because I'm using a toString. Only a numbers you can use a toString. You can't use a toString on a string. So what I do here is whatever is coming as a string like this 255, even though it is 255, it comes as a string. Convert it to integer and give it back. Now I will have to write end this result dot toString. Why this has to be converted is this an array. Array itself cannot be written back to the client. So I will have to convert it into a string and send that array to toString. Okay, so I've done with this. Let me test it out. After that, I can show you. Node app folder server. Where are we? Okay, some mistakes. There is the error. Expected token. Oh. Why is this coming here? Okay. Now see, it has started. So now daemon server, continuously it goes on waiting for this until I terminate this server. So it's a daemon server. I'll go here. What is the first one? Here, this is how you do this. Take this out. Is it crashed? Yes, it has crashed. What is that? 16th line, we have an issue. Response dot result is actually a string only, no? Is it not a string?
Returning an array.
Where is this hex to RGB? Hex to RGB. I have done the exact reverse of it. This is an array. Array has to be converted to string, whereas here RGB to X is giving me a string itself. Okay, so reverse of it. Sorry. Yes, see this? Here I executed this. So for this hexadecimal, I'm getting this RGB value. If I take this again, here I just take this out. I want to get, okay. Now I am getting, for this RGB value, I'm getting an hexadecimal. So just showing you our module used in a server module. So just wanted to introduce HTTP and URL. More than that, now this is an API. How are you going to test this asynchronous is what I want to show. As of now, I have not done any testing code. Okay, so just take this. Let me try it out. One second here. Yeah. Hope this is accessible. Instead of sharing everything in the chat, see this location, I placed it. The code, please take this code, test it out. So we'll write a testing code for this now. Asynchronous methods. Please check it out. Both the URIs. I've given it in the comment. Okay. Any questions, guys? Did you test it out? So the URI is also, I've shared it in the code itself is having the URI. So you can use that itself to test it once you have. So this goes on. So until you press Control C, so this server goes on executing. I'll leave this as it is because I want to write a test code for this. Okay. If you're done, I need to illustrate the next one, guys. We'll move on. Yeah, next thing, within the test folder, I will create server spec. Yes. Any questions? Looks like someone is having a question. Is it, or can I move on? Yeah. So I'm writing now server spec. See, the server is still running. Okay. Don't close it because we want to test it. Okay. So I'm writing a server spec. Not mocking. We are just the execute running server. We are testing it. So as usual, from the converter spec, I will pick chai, first one as it is. Now, I don't need this converter because we are not testing the converter app, rather we are testing the server now. Okay, server, whether I make this request or output is proper, so whether this particular URI is giving me this output, whether the other URI is giving me this output, that is what I need to test it, correct? So we are not testing the converter now. So in server spec, I use a request which we installed. If you look package.json, we installed chai. I'm showing you in an assertion. Mocha is a test runner we are using, Mocha reporter. Now I am using this request which we had installed. So request, require, request. So basically this used to make request calls or HTTP request. Okay. So to make HTTP request, so we use this request. So as usual, describe, okay, testing server. So then the callback function here. This is my suit. Now, first one, it. Here, test RGB to hex HTTP request or path. Some name for that. Okay. Yeah. So here RGB to X. So let me go back to this. Sorry. RGB to X. Here, this is the URI. I'll take this as it is. Okay. This is the URI. I'll copy this. Expected is this. Correct? So for this URI, that was the expected. Okay. So now request, I make a request. URI is this. When I make a request to this URI, you get a callback. Okay, or, there's a callback. Now, callback will have error, response, body. Okay, three parts here. Whenever you make a request to a particular URI, either it can come with an error or it comes with response and body. Response will, if you want to test the status code and all, response will be useful. If you are interested only in the body part here, then the body can be used. So the request gives me error, response, and body. So what I'll do, expect here the expected dot to dot be equal to the body. I'll directly take this. Okay. Now, similarly, I will take this code. I will write one more. This time it is hex to RGB. But my URI, what is that? Okay, you'll have to pass this URI. URI varies. The body is this. Okay, it's a string what is covering here. Okay, done. But see, I'm not stopping the server. I'll share this, guys. Just have a look at it. I'll click one more terminal I'll take. Here I'll say npm test. Oh, sorry, I should go into my app folder. In my app folder, test. Totally, it says testing server, converter server, 4 test says pass. Let me just check it out. Here, I will give here a wrong value, 255.00 for this. Again, run the test. Okay. Now, see this. What actually has happened? 4 tests pass. But after passing, it is showing me there is a difference here. Actually, okay, it's a reverse, sorry, expected and this. So it should be body, my expected. Let me rewrite that. Actual with expected. Okay. Now see this. I've cleared up. But first, if you just see the report, it has passed. But still, it says actual coming is this. Oh, what I written was correct. Okay, fine. So they are mismatched there. Is it clear? So there is a mismatch between now my actual code and the expected code, but still test is passed. Are you following what I'm trying to tell, guys? So what is actually happening is this is actually an asynchronous. This is an asynchronous. So you have written an expect within asynchronous. Can I say this is asynchronous? Callback, no, callback is asynchronous, right? What actually is happening here, please understand. When you run the test, this is registered with the API, but there is no way this test is waiting for this to complete. Before this has complete, this has come out and given the report as, hey, no problem happened in the test unit. So it blindly gave, hey, there was no problem in actually the test. So that is why it is showing you. So here, see this part. So when you do this, it is straight away given you the pass because there was no assertion errors there. But later on, when the callback came, that they found out there was a mistake here. Got it? So we need this test to wait until this callback has been completed. If this callback has not yet completed, do not give me the report. For that, we use one function here. Normally it is called as done. It could be any function. So this callback, when you invoke it here, this is an indication for asynchronous testing. I give one function. Do not give me the result until this function is called. Where am I calling here? Only when this callback is completed, this should evaluate the assertion and give me the result. So for this also, I give done. Now let us see. Now see, happy with this result? Definitely yes. See here, one test has failed. It was not, it is not no longer giving a wrong ones. So it is clearly telling failing. The difference also it is showing me. Sorry, this is where it is failing. So what you need to do is, testing is pretty simple in JavaScript. Synchronous, no issues. For asynchronous, pass one function here. Okay, high order function. This is it. Callback one function. Normally, convention is done. It could be ABC, PQR. So you will be invoking this function until you don't invoke. This fellow should not evaluate as a pass or a fail, because if there is no assertion here, it is a pass. Please understand. If nowhere the test is written for a negative scale, if no failure, it assumes as a passed. So you will have to tell, you should evaluate only after this expect is completed. So that is how we test an asynchronous code. Okay, I want you to have a look at it. In the collab edit, I've just replaced this code, test code. Just observe this server spec. Let me know if you have any questions on this. Okay, check that. Yes.
One doubt, like if you see the line required chai, so it basically takes all the dependencies from the node modules. Am I correct? I mean, it will try to find chai and then from the
Exactly.
node module. But
Yes.
also you mentioned about like if you go to server.js, they are HTTP, require HTTP.
Yes.
So it takes from there or it takes
No,
something
no, 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 no,
global.
no. No, no. Generally, what happens is when you say node followed by some file like this, okay?
Okay.
So this starts a JavaScript environment and loads some predefined FS, HTTP, REPL, REPL, okay, URL, all these modules straight away out of the box you get it.
Okay.
So it is in the memory itself. It can just node environment has all this loaded. Okay, so that is what we are using it. Other than this, some standard modules, like something like if you have a C program or even in Java program, so something like the core stdio straight away out of the box you get it, no? So
Yeah.
like even in Java, like some of the things like string you don't need to import, correct?
Yes.
Yes, so that I think something similar to that pattern here. Okay,
Okay.
yeah. So anything other than the standard modules, you'll have to explicitly
Take
install
from
it
node
and take
modules.
it in node modules. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Any questions? Check that. Please understand that server should be running. Okay. So if you don't want server to run, then there is something called as a mocking APIs and all, which we'll learn it later on and we go into the next phase of our training. Okay. Mocking and all. Here, where the actual server code, we are testing it. So just wanted to show you the difference between testing synchronous code and asynchronous code. Pretty simple. All you will have to do is pass one function to the tester, it, or a test execution method. Tell that until you don't invoke it, do not give me the result here. Or otherwise, blindly, before this is completed, it will say test has been passed. Okay. So because this is registered in the API, before it comes back, this has come out with the result because it tells, hey, no problem happened in my function. Okay. So that is why you should pass this function. Okay. Yeah. So just go through this. Uh, take a break. After the tea break, we'll continue other things and all. Okay. So I'll terminate this server code. So I'll just tested it. So just check it out. Have a look at all this. Take a break. 15 minutes. After 15 minutes, we'll continue with the remaining parts of that node and all. Okay. Sorry. All of you come back. Now, so we just see some concepts like npm install and all. Okay. So in fact, you can also push your module to the repository. So for that, we should just create an account and you can push it into the repository. Anybody can push that to the repository. Okay. So are you getting it? So next, one more small thing I just wanted to tell you. So please see this. If I say npm install -g JSON server like this, see this. This is global. Okay. If you use -g, okay, so that will be global and it will try to create it into your global folder here. So actually, if you see this, so under users, where is that C drive? Yeah, app data roaming. I like to show you under users folder. This is the folder app data. Roaming. Okay. Fine. I'll leave it. Okay. So this will create it in users app data roaming. Okay. Within this, it will start installing. So whether it is a Linux machine or Windows machine and all, globally it will get installed. Not in node modules folder. So any executable node module should be installed globally like this. Okay. So once you try this out, please see this. Anywhere I can execute this JSON server command. Are you getting my point? Okay. Yeah. Any questions on this? So if you don't use -g, it will be application specific. Okay. Yeah. Then node modules and
So this is for
install.
any dependencies as well. We can do that for any dependency.
No. This cannot be used. -g is only for executables. You cannot use it globally in that. So that's there is something like advanced like link and all are there which can be used, but actually dependencies should be present in your node modules folder only. Got it? Yes?
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So it will pick it from that only. So this is only, that's why I just clearly said executable. Okay. So if you see, I've installed it here. Do it like this, or you can try this out. So I'll send it in the chat. Install it. At least it will be useful for you. So just install this. By the time I'll share the code with you. Okay. So just to test it out, try running this. Yes.
And what's the difference between like package.json and package.lock.json? Like,
yes, normally what actually happens is every time if you keep installing this, new entries will come here. If you try to change the version of this will prevent here. So this will actually have the actual versions and all which you have used, dependencies as well as transitive dependencies, it will be there. So this is like a backup. For example, if you see chai here, locker 4.2 is what is installed. Suppose if you try to modify here and reinstall it, this lock will not allow me. So this is a new addition to Node. Earlier, this concept was not there, because what used to happen is there used to be a lot of difference. So I have developed my application. Later on, somewhere down the line, somebody has modified the version. The whole thing crashes. This lock will not allow me to modify existing version, but new dependencies it will allow me to install. So forcibly what we do is we delete this lock and recreate it. Okay, which is
Okay,
bad.
then we can
Understood?
modify.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. So you can literally delete that log file. So then if you want to, you can modify it. So which is bad actually, as I said. Okay.
Yeah.
1 second. I'll just show you one. Well, you give me 1 second. Yes. Okay. Did you install by that way JSON server? Okay. This. Yeah. I'll push it in collab edit. I'll take this yeah, somewhere in this node folder, data.json or yes. So I shared this file in the collab edit URL. Okay. You have installed now JSON server. Okay. Once you do this, see this here. So what JSON server does is JSON server, okay, to mock REST APIs. Very useful, especially when you want to get into development and all. In React and all, we'll be using this. So because we can't every time go to the server, build APIs in the Spring Boot or Express Node.js and all, that is final deliverable. But I want to mock REST APIs. This will be an excellent module to do that. So what you do, once you have installed, please see this. This is a data.json, any file name you can give, any file name you can give. In that, the contents I've shared, guys, just observe. JSON object, each of these is an endpoint. Slash customers gives me this, slash orders gives me this. Okay. You can add n number of endpoints here. You can perform all the CRUD operations. It allows me get, post, put, delete, every operation you can do with this JSON server. That's the beauty about using JSON server. Now look at this. This is my data.json. Please observe. Here I have data.json is present in this folder. JSON server --watch. This is the file where my data is there. I want it to run on port number 1234. See this global. Any folder you can have it and then execute. Look at this. Two endpoints are there, customers and orders. Because in my data.json, here customers is one endpoint, orders is another endpoint. So it tells customers and orders are endpoint. So I can go here, I just say localhost port number, what was that? 1234/customers. See, I get all the customers. Customer /3. Okay, 3 is not there. 2 is there. I can use query parameter. Okay, gender equal to female. See, I get only female customers like this. Got it? Is it clear? Everything it mocks. That's the beauty about this JSON server. So you don't need to waste time on writing server APIs and all. You can mock it and then straight away start building the UIs. So you can perform all the CRUD. It supports post, put, delete and all. Okay. So just check it out. How do you run it? So this line I'll share. Okay. Keep it, at least you can try it out later on. So place data.json is the please don't run this if you don't have data.json. It will create a dummy data.json with dummy data. So where you have data.json, in that place you can execute this. So and you can try it out with all these options, it works. So I've just shown you. Okay. So like to one customer with ID, everything works. Then we'll go to the next topic fast. So I just wanted to clarify, like, what is the difference between global and local installation? Global, we use it only for executable, to emphasize on that. Okay. Yeah. Can we move on? Yes, guys. So that should be good enough. I'm stopping the JSON server here. Next, few more things. We'll finish it off. Then, so we are not going too deep into Node.js. Only Node.js, which is essential for our client-side web application development. I'm not building APIs and all. This JSON server and all will be very useful whether you get into Angular or React and all. We need to mock the REST APIs. That is why I'm just introducing, not everything. So Node.js is very vast. We have a separate session, I think, coming up, I think next month, I think. So we have an Express.js building REST APIs and all, along with MongoDB and all. You can, if you want, you can nominate for that also. That's a separate. We'll be getting building clusters, putting it into Docker, all those things is a separate training, which we'll plan it for the next month. Okay, you will get it in a calendar. So here just looking at Node, minimalistic Node required for our web application. Next thing with this is we need another thing where we use Node.js is Node.js for our client side. This is what we have been looking, web application development. Okay, so things what we generally we need to do, lint is basically to check now static code analysis. If you want to do static code analysis, for example, so whether you are given a proper semicolon, space is available, okay, so good programming, like whether you used a variable without declaring. So these are all static code analysis. So you can, you normally when you write a code, you want to lint it. So that is one of the things. Then we need to do something like minify. Minify and minify is a eliminate empty spaces. Okay, eliminate empty spaces. So empty spaces and all, we give tabs, new line characters and all, so that it's more readable. But a production ready code shouldn't have that, because each character adds to a byte, each line adds to a number of bytes like this. So finally, because from the server to the client when it goes, so the JavaScript should eliminate all unwanted white spaces, empty spaces between this and all, so that it should do it. So then we have something called as uglify. Uglify, so naming conventions, big names to shorter ones. This also matters a lot. For example, if I have a function get employee like this, dot dot or whatever, which get converts to function underscore g like this. Now see this, how many bytes you have saved here? So many bytes you have saved here. So that's how, that is what is uglify. Many people do uglification just to not to expose the APIs also properly. When it is loaded into the browser, they don't want to give away the complete names of variables what you are trying to do. So for that also, but actual reason for minify and uglify is, so the network traffic, like it has to occupy less time, downloading should be faster, browser should have less number of bytes loaded onto this. So these are some other things what we do. Then we need to do, so the unit testing, as we saw. Unit testing has to be done. Okay, then finally we'll have to do bundling, or we need to do something like transcompiler or transcompile, also transpile. So here, as I told you, we may be writing in a higher version, but browsers or a target machine doesn't understand this higher version of ES6 or ES Next. So you'll have to convert it into ES5 before it is delivered to the browser. So you want to do such sort of a things. Then finally bundle it. So these are some of the things commonly you do it in web application development, and Node.js will be the right platform to do all these stuffs. Bundle, basically what we do is we create something like a.js, b.js, c.js, n number of files will be there. All those things we will be bundling it and put it into one file called as any file. I've just given the name as bundle.js. Now, what is the advantage of this? So the advantage of this is twofolds. One is here, if you have 10 JS files, this will be 10 network calls to server from the browser. So you'll say script src is equal to a.js, script src is equal to b.js. Each script src will be a network call, 10 network call. 10 network call, instead of that, we'll just have script src is equal to bundle.js, one network call we have done. That is one thing. Then another issue with these JS files is ordering matters a lot. For example, if B is dependent on A, script src a.js should come above b.js. C depends on B, that ordering I should take care. Now, if I bundle everything into one JS files, everything is in a single JS file. Where is the question of ordering? So these are some of the things what we generally do in Node.js environment, especially for client-side web application development. I'm talking about client-side is whether it is jQuery templates, whether it is React, whether it is Vue or Angular. This is where we are using Node.js. So as of now, I have not talked about using Node.js for server-side APIs. Okay. Now, to do this, Node.js has the following. Okay, APIs for above tasks. Like one is grunt, gulp, and webpack. You can use any of these. So they are also called as task builders. Okay, task runners, task builders. These are all, each one of this is a task, no? So for that, following libraries will say. So we have the following libraries. You can use a grunt or a framework you can call gulp, webpack, all of them are used for task builder. So let us see, the oldest in this is a grunt. Grunt is a JavaScript task runner, automating some request tasks. Like you can see, minification, as I told you, unit are all what we generally do with this frameworks like this. Okay, so grunt does this. Similarly, gulp is also very much similar to grunt. People prefer gulp because it is much easier to write a gulp tasks. Grunt tasks are XML based, gulp tasks are JavaScript JSON based. It is much easier to write a JSON scripts, okay, rather than writing some XML sort of a syntax and all. So grunt is almost vanished now, nobody uses it. Okay, you can use this or you can use a webpack. Webpack is excellent, especially when it comes to bundling. Okay, so if your main job is to bundle it, webpack is the ultimate tool, which is the de facto when it comes to React. Most of the React based scaffolding code uses Webpack. Angular also is tightly coupled to Webpack. So let's finish Webpack first. Okay, so Webpack does the job. All of you, please do this along with me. Okay. Open create app.div. Please do this, at least one code. So don't be lazy. Almost we are done with that end of the day. At least do this one with me. Create app.dev. If you want, I can share the URL. Yes. Okay. Fine. Yes. Now see this. Here, this one actually code Webpack code generator. There is no compulsion that you should use this website. What it does is it makes my job easy. I don't need to type all this. So it will take full day like this, typing and all, getting it. So instead of that, we'll use this website to generate our Webpack application. Okay. You type everything. But I'll explain each and every line what it generates. So, okay, first come to the create web. We are using Webpack. There is one more called as a parcel. Okay, very much similar. Bundler. So Webpack. So parcel, gulp. Here it has only parcel and Webpack. So you can use gulp and gulp also. I'll share it. Okay, now look at this here. Are you using this application with React, Vue and all it shows? You can include Angular also. Here he has given me straight away whether you want it is a React based or a Vue based or Svelte or whatever, however you pronounce. I am right now no library. So main library, I minimize it. Got it? No library. UI library. Whether you are using CSS, Bootstrap, okay, or any other Tailwind CSS and all. So we'll be using Bootstrap again next week when we get into React. So at that time we'll discuss. So we don't have any CSS library right now. Testing framework. See, Mocha, Chai, Jest, Jasmine, Cypress, all these are testing frameworks. Which one you want to use? So you can select it straight away here. No problem. We don't want any of this. Transpiler. We take Babel now. Take Babel. First selection what I have done is Babel. As I said, what Babel does, converts ES6 to ES5. So just take Babel. Okay. Fine. Next. Now, like that, you can go on selecting styling, optimization and all, code splitters and all. You can, if you want any of this, you can take it, leave it, none of that. So, sorry. Currently, I just taken Babel, no other thing here. Got it? So what you do is, you just download this project, download the project, okay, somewhere. I'll take it into this folder itself. Okay, don't need to register and all. So just download the project. That downloaded one, extract it. This is what now I'm opening it now in the Visual Studio Code. This folder, I'm opening it in Visual Studio Code. Okay. Yeah. Guys, did you do that? Yes. Now, using a create app.div, okay, we generated an empty project. We can go on adding a number of things later on as and when required. Any other features if you want, you can go on adding. I'm showing you a simple Webpack. Now, if you see here, I like to say here npm install. Just trigger npm install and we'll start looking at the code. Okay, in this empty project folder, npm I What it did, now look at the package.json. Please see this. Here, it is downloading Webpack command line interface, Babel loader, and Babel some presets. Okay, so these are all core Babel library, preset library, it is loading. If you are used a TypeScript loader would have come. Got it here? So these are all the dependencies it is now downloading. So when I just say npm install, all this at one shot it is going on installing. Otherwise, I should have given a one by one in the client, npm install webpack, npm install webpack CLI and all. So just run npm install, it starts executing. Okay. Now there are some scripts here. Cleaning, this is going to remove this file. This is not going to work in Windows. RM is not a Windows command. So they have given it for your Linux or based machines. Okay, I'll forget about this. I may have to modify it for Windows. My machine is Windows. Then there are two scripts: building the code for production, building the code for development. I'll show you both the versions here. Okay, guys. So 3 scripts already given. You can add your own scripts. So far, any questions? Any questions so far? Okay. So what does it say? Now, main now is index.js. Let us, that there is nothing much in package.json. Now, when you run a webpack, it will make use of this file. Okay. Give me 2 minutes here. Just see this. First, here, entry point, index.js. In SRC, there is an index.js. This is an entry point. Okay. Output. Now, path module is using 2_dir name is actually a Windows environment variable pointing to the current folder. Okay. Here, wherever this webpack is there, in that look for dist, distribution folder. Within this, there will be one bundle.js. Look at this. When I run a webpack, bundle.js will be created within the distribution folder, which is what is used here to include. HTML file is including bundle.js. Are you getting, guys? HTML is using bundle.js, which we have not yet created. We are telling Webpack has to create bundle.js. Starting from index.js, you go on resolving and finally you create one bundle.js. What are the rules here? Now, loaders, go. This is a regular expression. Anything ending with JS file, Babel has to load. Now, first Babel has to load. I don't know whether it is a ES6 or ES5 or ES7 or whatever version. Babel has to load all the JS modules. Don't load node modules. Okay, from this current folder, go on searching all JS files. Babel loader, what it will do? Loads this, transpiles, converts the transpiled file. Transpiled file will be added into bundle.js. One by one, it will go on adding it into bundle.js. Is it clear? Are you getting it? Okay, guys. So first it will start with index.js. Let me give other detail. In SRC, okay, I will create a new file. I will call it as person.js. So export class person. So this is actually a ES6, correct? So constructor, so I'll say title and why person as a title, name, age. This dot name, okay. So I'm just writing get, okay, something like this, get details. Okay, so just a simple one. You are exporting a class. Then in index.js, I will write here import person from person. Okay, then let p equal to new person. Here console.log. So this is in which file? Index file. Okay. p dot get details. Okay. Similarly, I can write one more function here, something like let add equal to x comma y. Okay, x plus y. This is just to illustrate. Okay, so how the arrow operators gets converted. Okay, now see this. This is an index.js, an entry point, which is mentioned here. It will start from here. Now, Babel will try to load this, but when it is trying to load, it will see import. Then it will import this. It will take this, transpiles this to the ES file. The transpiled code will be added into index.js. This also gets transpiled completely. This whole thing, this one plus this code, everything, it will put it into your bundle.js. That bundle.js is what will be included here in the HTML. Now let me, I'll illustrate. After that you can try it out. Okay, see this terminal here. Okay guys, just see. This is the project. Okay, npm run, which is that one build development, I'll say. So, dev tool option is more strict. Change the pattern. The pattern. Is there a mistake? Some changes already they have done. One second. Each day changes happen so fast in this JavaScript world. Allow this empty string, which is that? Okay, some issue there. Interpoint application main. Where is main? Did we configure it as main?
Main is there in package.json.
Is it?
Index.
No, I don't see.
Yeah,
No,
fifth
main is
line.
index. Correct. That's correct. Yeah, yeah. But this one is looking for alert enable. Okay. Okay. Fine. Yeah. Okay. I think some flags, there are small changes that have happened. I like to look at the new apply. Some changes have done. Anyways, so now look at this. So this file, one second, index.html. I'll see this, but working fine here. Now look at this here. Hello world is coming. Ashok is also coming. Both the output is coming. I'll go to the sources. This index.js is loading bundle.js. Look at the bundle.js. Okay. See, this is definitely not my code. I'll just take this here, how it has done. This is how the actual code, we wrote it in a different way. This is the final output. What all has happened? First of all, if you look at it here, now, where is my class? Very difficult to find out here. So here, this one, it is creating like a normal object defined properties. It is using its own mechanism. And then this function, get details, is another function. Add function also, somewhere it should be there. Okay. So it is doing what all it has done. It has minified, uglified. Okay. It has done that. Then it has done bundle. See, this is total. All my files put together is this code. Agreed? Yes. So that is what is available here in my bundle.js. So here, see this code. I think production is working. I wanted to show you in one second. Let me try out once again. Development. They say having issue here. So this works. The version has changed, I believe. I think I'm not getting. Let me just check it out. Okay, the switch is not working or what? Okay, some issue with development mode. Okay, don't worry about it. So here we'll have to just search for that one. This one is working. Production is working. This development is having some issue here. Okay, mode development is having some issue here. Okay, so what difference between development and production is, development will do this bundle.js, but only thing is it shouldn't do the minification, uglification and all. Got it? So transpiling and all should have done. So, but unfortunately, this is some changes they have done. So let us not waste time on that. So we can have a look at the documentation and we can see that. So when I run this, you can see this bundle.js is created with all this. So you wrote here n number of files. It could be person can internally use another import. That import can use another import. At the end of the day, you have only one single file. So these are the things what you generally do in Webpack. So just check it out. add this code. So person.js code, I have shared it in SRC. Okay. Done. Then index.js, small changes are done. This is index.js. Check it out. Then in the command prompt, we have to say npm run, which is that here you will have to specify build production. Run this code. It's asking for, you will have to just which flags to use. So main.js, no entry. So just some more changes has happened. Just go on pressing enter. Yeah. So you should be able to see that output. And index.js, if you open index.html, output also should come. Index is including a bundle.js, which is a combination of these two, index.js and person.js. So which is the command to run that? So here, okay, just check this out. I've shared all. I will look at it. Working? Yeah. Any questions on this? Yeah, this has become actually now the default for almost all the web-based applications. It's pretty simple compared to Grunt or a Gulp and all. So what I'll do is the Gulp code, I'll push it into the Git. You can have a look at it. Very much similar on this lines only. Okay. So time is a constraint. I don't want to confuse it too much because in React anyways, we'll be using a Webpack itself. Okay. If time permits, we'll take it up there Gulp again. So the next, when we meet in the next week. Okay. Then what else? I think that should be good enough. Any question? Yes, tell me.
Yeah. Okay. So when we created this project in createapp.dev, we didn't select any minification or linting, right? But
yes,
so
because
then also,
yes, that is the behavior of this production.
Okay, it
This
does that also. Okay.
exactly that switch. But if you do not want all this, that is where people still use Gulp, wherein you have a more fine grind. You will be telling, I want only minification, not uglification. I want only linting, not the minification. So if you want for most of the fine grind, if they want, people still go ahead with Gulp.
Okay.
Okay. Whereas this one, you have either a development and production, it is doing everything out of the box. And which is a requirement in most of the days, today's requirement. That is why people are, it makes your job easy. You don't need to configure each and everything. Whereas in case of a Gulp or a Grunt, everything you have to configure. Configuration files looks pretty heavy. So Gulp you should first, then within that lint also separately configured, minify also you'll have to write so many things you'll have to enter. Here everything out of the box you get it. But this switch somehow is not working. I'll have to Google. If anyone has the time, you can Google it now and can tell me the solution. Not working. Okay. So let me just check. Here, meanwhile, if I have it. by the time. New versions. That's the big issue with these things and all. So they keep changing so fast.
True.
So I thought we have done with this, and then by the time next when we see, it has changed. Yeah. That is where this package lock will be very useful. Now you understand the importance of locking. So we have used A version means I want to stick on to the A version for the entire project. Yeah. So this is a big issue. Okay. Yeah. On development. Okay. Any questions so far? I think that should be good enough. So for this basic 2 days training, so we'll see more on this next week. Are you the same team which is going to come next week and after week also?
No.
Not sure.
No.
Okay, because next week we have a React. After that, I don't know whether you are the same. They have informed you. So we'll get into more advanced topics and all there, and store management, Redux, Mobex, all those things will be discussed. So in that part of training, okay. Anyways, that should be good enough. Any questions you have? You can get it clarified now. So meanwhile, I'll try to push, and I'll like to give you a link for you to the test also. 1 second. Not given me the link. 1 second. Yeah. Now, guys, I've just shared the post link. Just select it. Is it working? Yeah. In a parallel, if you want, you can ask question also. So by the time I keep pushing all this course.
Manu, is the TypeScript
Yes.
still pending, right?
No, we couldn't cover that. You want that? Because we are using React. If we are using Angular, we would have used that. Okay, or otherwise you want to take it now? A quick introduction?
Yeah, quick introduction will be
okay. I'll do that now. Just give me 2 minutes. Okay, guys, just anyways, I've shared the link. You can do it later on also. Yes. Let me quickly introduce it to TypeScript. Okay, just see this. Where did that go? Give me 2 minutes. Yes. Yeah. So basically, now here, TypeScript by Microsoft. So the whole idea of coming up with a TypeScript is nothing but actually JavaScript with data type. Okay, but be careful. Engine doesn't still understand. So engine doesn't understand types. Still, the way it works is still same. So what we do is we write a TypeScript file, say something like a.ts. So we use TypeScript compiler. Babel is a transpiler. Okay, similar to that, we have TypeScript compiler. Once you have a TypeScript compiler, this converts to a.js. A.ts will have the data types. Okay, so TypeScript supports most of these types like string, number, okay, boolean, all of those sort of things it support. When you use a TypeScript compiler, it will convert it into a JS file. This JS file is what again has to go to the bundle. Webpack has to take this JS file and bundle it. Okay, so how does it look like? For example, hello, any questions?
No.
I think one of you had a question or okay. Now see here, new file. So where is this code? Okay, in the node outside of the Node.js, I have something like 1.ts. This is a TS file. File.
Your voice is breaking.
Now I will access a why. Oh, sorry. Network is also fine now.
Yeah, now it's better.
Okay, let me. Okay, some network issues, I believe. Okay, now if you have like this, see this, add B, comma A, fine. Add A, comma B. See this. Visual Studio Code, fair enough. Okay, by Microsoft. TypeScript is Microsoft. It is
Your voice is breaking very badly.
is good enough.
Even for me, its voice is breaking.
Very bad.
No, it's all for all, I think then. Okay, 1 second. Oh, I'll do one thing. Whatever I am speaking, I'll type it. Yeah, that will be better. Huh? Okay. I'll type it. Okay. So whatever I'm trying to tell, I'll type it. So please see this. Now, Visual Studio Code understands TypeScript. Okay. So it is IntelliSense will give me an error here. Error because here X, I think Vinayak and Nitish, please mute. Okay. X is a number. Got it? But come on, Vinayak. Okay. So X is a number. You are trying to pass a string here. See, here itself ID is giving me an error. But if you are not using Visual Studio Code, TypeScript compiler, when it tries to convert a.ts to a.js, it gives me an error. It will not, you will not get a.js. A.js will not get converted. So this is only at the coding stage TypeScript will help. It will not enhance any performance of a JavaScript. It will not even add any single feature to JavaScript. Whatever JavaScript at the end of the day engine supports, only that code is valid. So if you look at here, this is an error. Got it? Like that, if I declare a class person, I can declare here now constructor. I can have other things like private name string, okay, public age number. That's the beauty. Now, if you have get name, returns a string type, return this dot name. Like that. Get age returns a number, okay, return this dot age, like this data type concept. Now this is 2-in-1. Earlier what you used to do, I'll have to write a constructor name comma age, then this dot name equal to name, this dot age equal to age. This is how we used to code. Of course, this is giving an error because we have 2 times that code. If you use an access modifier like this, private or public and all, it is 2 steps in one. It will add this attribute, object level variables, name and age, plus you can add a visibility. See this. Name outside of this, if I say let P equal to new person, now see valid. But if I try to pass something else here, it's a error straight away. Getting it? Is it clear? Because you declared age as a number. And best part of it is age you have told it as a public console.log p.age, fine, p.name error, because name is private. So TypeScript also introduces a visibility mode. Access modifiers like private, public, protected is also supported here. Okay, so first thing, you have a concept called as a data type. You can specify here, but at the end of the day, they all become a variant data type, where only, okay, where. Okay, so data types are there, so which will help me at least at the time of coding to avoid mistakes. It will avoid me. But when it comes to the class, you have visibility mode like private, public and all. Look at this, p.name, I can't access it because I have declared this as a private. So shorter form for this is like straight away like this. You can give it. You can still use this old fashioned code, supports. Whatever is valid in JavaScript is valid in TypeScript. Okay. So when you have like this, so now let me just go back to the terminal here. Here, see, TypeScript compiler, what was that? 1.ts converted. Now let me here. What was that? Control Shift B.
Just Control V.
Yes. See this. 1.ts. This is the code you wrote. JS. Do you have that? Type is gone, no? Class. See this? It became like prototypal, normal, what we wrote. Function, person, prototype, all these things, it is coming, no? It is coming. So only this is syntactical sugar, as I said again. At least at the time of typing, it will prevent you from accidentally making mistakes. Like instead of passing a string, you passed a number, or passing a number, strings and all. That is what TypeScript brings into you. Are you getting it? Clear? Other than that, there is nothing much you gain here in TypeScript. So concept of data types, access modifiers and all. Okay. Okay. Guys, any questions? Understood this? So
Yeah,
for this too, for this you will have to install globally again npm. Sorry, you will have to install npm install -g TypeScript compiler. So this is again, look at this here. Okay, I is auto converting. So TypeScript compiler you will have to install so that you can execute here anywhere. TypeScript compiler followed by the TS file, which gets converted to the JS file. Okay.
okay.
Okay. So that's it. Not much in this concept of data type and all. Okay. Anyway, if you are getting into Angular, then we would have gone deep into TypeScript compilers and all. So Angular is purely based on TypeScript, strongly, like they recommend you to use a TypeScript. But most of the React developers, they use JSX with a simple JavaScript on the XML rather than the TypeScript. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
And for Node.js, is it suitable for Node.js?
Yes,
TypeScript?
you can use it. You can use it.
Okay.
So anywhere you can use it. So that's what, like, if you were, if you want to, like, as I told you, if you want to prevent like accidentally at the time of coding, if you want to check out like you are properly passing the right type of a data, TypeScript will definitely help you, but as I told you, zero performance improvement, because at the end of the day, it is the same JS which is executing within the engine. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I've shared the test link. Look into it. Meanwhile, I'll push all this code to the GitHub. Okay. So is there any questions? Any other questions? Please let me know, because before I log off, please let me know, because you can take the test offline also. You don't need to be connected to this. Any questions? This file. Oh, my bad. I'll have to write a git ignore. I think it's trying to push full node modules. Yeah. Give me 1 minute. So it made a big mistake. Perfect. Okay. Yes. Okay. I'll just check with Shravani. I'll just check out with the. Okay. I'll just ask him. Wait.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Santosh, are you connected, Santosh? Hello. Okay. I'll just wait 1 second. I'll call him. Shravani is just looking into it. I think he'll ping directly to you the link. So he's just working on it. Let me see that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So he's working on it.
Thank you.
Meanwhile, it's just no problem. So anyone else has that issue? Okay. So anyone has a issue in that test? Please let me know, because I'll have to ask him to send you separately. Okay. Otherwise, I'll just push all the codes to the Git. Even the images, I've pushed it to the Git. So have a look at it. So you can reach out to me. The mails or email ID I have given there. Okay, in the top of the README, any of the email you can, okay, reach out to me, or you can reach out to your HR team. They will internally contact me. It's not.
Can I ask one question if it is okay? Hello.
Okay.
Hello.
Yeah. So
Can
yes,
I ask
yeah.
one question?
Yes, Binit.
Okay, so
Yeah.
so I
Welcome.
just wanted to ask one thing. Like usually we say JavaScript is interpreted language, but if you see V8 engines and all, they have like they're using JIT, I mean just-in-time
Correct.
compilers and all, right?
Yes, correct.
So it is not exactly to be
Yes,
interpreted language,
but
right?
still at the end of the day,
Yeah.
yes. So it started off with just an interpreted. Now what actually is happening is, so I talked about a global execution context and all, no?
Yes,
So
yes.
what actually is happening is it is more of a hot compilation. Global execution. So everything like ASTs and all. Earlier when we are talking about actually the JavaScript old version 90s, I'm talking about when initial Netscape, there ASTs, everything was getting converted as an interpreted way. Now ASTs, everything for functions is out of the box. It is ready in the global execution stage. Memory is allocated and all. That's what when I explained here. So now only when you invoke that part of a code, still it is interpreted. It is two in one. It is you can say partially compiled and interpreted. You can say, as you said, JIT, just in time. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. They have enhanced. It has grown a lot. So just, but still, why we say interpreted is the concept of first converting it to a byte code, then byte code loading it onto the engine. That part of it we are not doing it. No.
Yes.
Correct.
Directly you are executing
So,
this.
exactly. So that is why still it falls into the category of just in time.
Okay.
Sorry, it falls into the category of interpreter. Yeah. Yeah. Any other questions? Okay then. Oh, you can take the test. So you can finish off that and then, okay, if you have anything to
I have
discuss with
one
them?
more thing if you have time.
Yes, hi Vanu. Yes, yes. So I'll
Yes,
be
yes.
also sending the post workshop survey. So I'll post it on the Zoom chat box in 2 minutes.
Okay.
Shravani can take
Yes,
up the
Vineet,
test
you can go
again.
ahead.
Yeah, Shravani can take up the test again. Can she try this?
Shravani, you can take it.
Yeah.
Just try it out now.
Yeah, thank you. Okay.
Yes. Yes, Vineet, you had other question.
Yeah. So is it okay for me to share the screen?
Yes.
Wanted
Yes.
to.
Yes. Oh, so I think I don't know whether I can. I think
I am trying to host a disable. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't know whether so the primary technology.
Yeah, you can try. Who is this?
I'll make him a host.
Yeah.
I'll make okay. Yeah.
No, just give him the permission to open share the screen. Who is this?
There is nothing. I think beneath, but there is nothing called as share. There is nothing like only sharing the screen. Either I like to give him the host or.
No, you should ask for sharing the screen. That is why.
So Binit, you try asking for.
I try it, but it is showing me that host disabled attendees.
In the participant, can you try in the go to the participants and try clicking right click on that? You might
I
get
don't
some
have an
option over
option.
there.
Either. So there are only
Make
two.
him a host. You make him the host. Banu sir.
I'll do it. 1 second. I'll like to reply to. Okay. Okay. I made you the host.
Okay, now it is okay. Okay. You can stop the share so that I can.
No, it's not no longer shared. You.
Okay. Now it is okay. You're able to see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so I was like executing this, but when I execute, why am I getting undefined here?
No, that's not at all an issue. See, basically, console.log is not returning back anything. That is undefined.
Okay.
Are you getting?
I mean, okay, 3 logs are given. I think I'm getting 3 things: 100, success, and
correct.
Yeah.
See, basically, okay, last one which you are executing is execute. No, is execute returning back anything?
No.
That is what is undefined.
Okay.
So whenever a function doesn't return back, when you call a function, if it doesn't return back, it is undefined. I told you, no, that's the default behavior in JavaScript.
Yes.
That is why you're getting that. Okay, don't get no issues with that. Okay, don't worry. Yeah. So actually, when you run it in your actual application, you will not be using that, right? Return value. But here, undefined is purely because of the execute or console.log. They all don't return back any value. So that is what is undefined. Okay.
Okay. And also this one, like as you told, if we add async, it wraps up. I mean, there's the internal promise it returns. It's always like it's a promise that is resolved or it in rejected state or like
no, when you do it, it's because you do not have any conditional or promise. Always the return 100 will be a resolved 100.
Okay. So
because it is a synchronous code. No, there is nothing else you can happen here. Correct.
Yes. Okay. Fine, then that is what I wanted to ask. Yeah.
Okay. You can make me a host back.
Sure. How do I do that?
I think you'll have to right click on me and then.
Okay. Yeah. Got it. Yes, I did it.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Any other questions? Yeah. Okay then.
Avani, you're able to take up the test?
I think she is able to. Shravani, are you able to take the test? I think she.
Yes. I am able to.
Okay. Yeah, fine.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, I think. Then, Santo, can I log off?
Yeah, you can close that meeting, sir.
I'll close the meeting or
Yeah,
okay.
you can close the meeting.
Okay, thank you all then. Fine. Okay, see you next
Banu,
week.
Santosh, sorry to interrupt. So they have to complete both the activities. So they just wanted to ensure everyone has the link.
Yeah, just you can. Okay. Anyone who doesn't have a link, please just reply back immediately.
Which link?
Okay, no, but the one is the survey and the one is post test.
Post test is okay, sir. You can leave. Let the meeting be there.
Yes. Okay, I'll just leave it.
Make me the host and leave.
Yeah. I'll leave it. I'll assign it to you then. Huh?
Yeah.
Thanks, Rohan, for the update. So rest all the participants, if you have completed both the post test and the post assessment, you can leave the bridge.